My name is Nekme Obasogie, reporting from Toronto, Canada. Today I have a guest with me in the studio, Miss Fina Brooks from Alberta, Canada. Hello. Hello, Miss Fina.
Hi, Nekme. Good to be here with you tonight, and I'm happy to be, you know, let's talk about our motherland and how we can make it better. And hello, all you out there. How are you all doing? I hope you guys are keeping safe, and Merry Christmas to all of you as well.
Thank you for joining us on the show today. Thank you so much.
hmm
Before we start the show, can you please introduce yourself to us a little bit more better?
Well, my name is Fina Brooks. I am a filmmaker. I'm a music and entertainment promoter. I am a TV host and producer. I'm a mom
Mm,
and a wife and a grandma.
mm,
And I live in Canada. I live in the city of Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
mm. Thank you.
And I am a cultural ambassador.
Oh, cultural ambassador to where? Data.
Culture, our African culture.
African culture, yeah. Your show.
In
Your show.
Canada
Mm,
and everywhere. Yeah.
okay. So your show is focusing on culture, only culture.
Not just culture. It focuses on culture, entertainment, arts, and I
Okay.
guess
Entertainment, yes, I've said
lifestyle.
that. Yeah.
Basically, it's a multifaceted show, which is kind of
Mm,
I can basically broadcast whatever is out there,
yeah.
and I feel like needs to be the people need to know more about or be entertained by.
Okay.
So it's a show that encompasses a lot of things,
That's it.
including all those things I listed: entertainment, culture, fashion, food, you know, and lifestyle.
So how can we access your show?
Well,
What?
my show is a couple of times a week on Omni Television by Rogers, Rogers TV, Rogers Entertainment, and Omni Television airs across Canada. And so you have to check your local listings for when my show comes on, and it's called The Fina Show.
Oh,
It
the
used to be
financial.
called Afro X Television, but now it's called The Fina Show.
Oh, you changed the
So
title. I know the Afro S.
yes, it's now called The Fina Show. So
Thank you for joining us today.
hmm hmm
So, we are here to discuss about Nigeria, the insecurity in the country, and the restructuring of Nigeria through the system of federalism. Few weeks ago, the South leaders organized a meeting inviting the federal government, President Muhammadu Buhari, and they were demanding for restructuring of Nigeria through the system of federalism. Exactly what we have been advocating for over this month, decentralization, because the system that we are operating right now is not working for Nigeria anymore. Okay,
yeah,
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we all know that the centralization of power is not working for every Nigerian. It's working for just a few Nigerians that are in the higher echelons of society, and it should work for every Nigerian. Every Nigerian should know that their country is doing something for them and on their behalf. As far as a Nigerian is concerned, there is really nothing that you feel your country is doing for you. Let me give you an example. A few couple of years ago, I interviewed the comedian Akbororo while he was in the US. He was in Los Angeles, and I met up with him to sit down with him to have a chat. And this was when he had his twins in America, right? He had the twins in America. And so he came, of course, for the birth of his twins. And so a week after the birth of his twins, meanwhile, he's a Nigerian, his wife is a Nigerian, but he just wanted to have an American baby, of course, right? Because you know the advantage of that.
Mm,
So a week after, he went and picked up the children's passport, his brand new baby's passport,
mm,
American passports. And on the passport, it says, the world is yours. On the envelope, on the thing that he used to pick the passport, when he picked the passport up from the office where they process the passport office. And he says, the world is yours. And that just threw him. And he says, wait a minute. I just had a baby. The babies are maybe a week or two old. And now they have the world at their feet. Meanwhile, he's a grown-ass man and he's lived in Nigeria all his life. And when you look at his green passport, and he goes, the only thing that green passport reminds him of and gives him an experience of is negativity and really bad stuff. So when you have your green passport, sometimes you hide it behind and you have a sleeve for it, so people don't really see that as a green passport, which is kind of an embarrassment. But look at him now with twins that were just born in the United States of America, and yet they have more opportunity than him.
Yes.
Who came from Nigeria, excuse me.
Because the system works,
Yes, it works certainly because they decentralize the power so that every area, every section of the country, divided into provinces or states in the case of the United States, their power is in that locality. Because remember, politics is local. When you say politics is local, that means that it's the local people that will vote for you anyway. And it's the local people that put you in the power. And you answer to the local people, not the federal people, not the centralized people, but the locality
Look.
of where your constituency is. So
When you don't have the power to implement certain policies to affect the people, you become a little bit powerless. That's what is going on in Nigeria right now. The state governors don't have the power to implement security outfits. They can't manage their own resources. So there are a lot of things going on right now in Nigeria. So some people, some Nigerians, clamoring for this secession. You know what is going on lately? To do what the Biafrans, many people are saying that no, this country is not working anymore. Some are blaming the amalgamation of Nigeria, that enough is enough. It is time for us to separate so that we will go on our own separate ways. But some of us, person like me and many other people, are saying that no, we can keep one Nigeria through the system of federalism that will give power to states in Nigeria to take control of their resources and implement policies in their various states. So, do you think division will solve this problem, or federalism, system of federalism?
definitely, we know federalism doesn't work because that's what we've always had. It hasn't worked. It's only worked for a few people, yet the majority of people are in abject poverty. And they have no say. Really, they have no say. They can't complain. And who are they going to complain to? The one you see all the time is your governors, your councillors, your commissioners. Those are the ones you see. You don't see the people that actually, run the power, that actually execute the power. And if you do, when the power is trickled down, they still abuse it. So for me, I have never appreciated centralized government. Things need to be localized. They need to be brought down to a level that is easily manageable and accountable
And
to the people.
accessible as well. Accessible, because you can't access the federal government. It's like
No,
nobody is
no,
working
you
there.
have to go to Abuja to do that.
When you get to the Abuja, who's going to attend to you?
You
Who's
have to
going
go
to
to
attend to
Abuja
you?
to do that.
The president can understand you. Can the president comprehend what you are trying to say? Can he? So, the system is not working. That is why we are advocating for decentralization, uh, federalism. The system of federalism will not that it will solve the problem of Nigeria, but it will minimize it a little bit. It will
It will
minimize,
minimize the suffering.
yeah, it
And
will minimize it
yes,
a little bit, because the problems are there, It's not going to be easy to eradicate the problems that the Nigeria as a country is facing because it has been there for a long time. However, through this system of federalism, it will reduce it a little bit for the people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why instead of secession, because for me, I don't believe in this secession, I believe in one Nigeria, but we need the system of federalism. Okay, one
Yes.
Nigeria, many people are saying one Nigeria, but some people are agitating for secession. And since this ESAS protest, you can see how many people are coming out these days. Some are even protesting on social media that we have to divide. We should go on our separate ways. Some people said Nigeria can be divided into 7 places.
Into how
Seven,
many
seven,
places?
yeah, 7 places.
That's too much. Even
Yeah.
if you divide Nigeria into 1,000 places, there will still be problems. Because number one, remember, it's easy to blame the leaders too, but the individuals, they have their own problems. And sometimes that problem is what really hinders the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because when the centralized government realize that they can do whatever they want, the people are not united anyway, even in the local level. Like, for example, you're from Edo State. In Edo State, you have the Benin, the Isha, the Iga. Is he? No, no, Igala is not from there though. It's from Delta, right?
I'm not sure. No, Ghana
Right.
is it's not
How
from
many?
Edo.
How many? How many tribes do you have in Edo
We
State?
have four major.
Okay, at least you have four major, but you have some minor tribes as well, right? Right. So in Delta State, for example, they have the Urubu, Shekiri, Ijo, Isoko, four major tribes as well. Four tribes really, and from those four tribes, we have different dialects in those
Dialects.
tribes. So even within one tribe, even within one tribe, there is no unity. So you can divide Nigeria into 1,000 pieces, yet
Yes,
you
but
have no unity.
and
It
you
is the
said
mindset of the people. It is the mindset. It is how they think. Until we deal with nepotism, tribalism, and all this silly favoritism and all this, whatever we do, it's not gonna change. We can divide Nigeria into 1,000 or 1,000,000 pieces or parcels, yet there won't be any change because the
but
people's mindset is really what makes this happen.
some people are also people are arguing that amalgamation uh, is the problem of this is the major problem that the country is facing. That prior to the amalgamation of Nigeria, different tribal groups were living peacefully in West Africa. That after independence, just few years after Nigeria gained its independence from the colonial rule, political and tribal tensions engulfed the country that later exacerbated the Nigerian Civil War, also known as Biafran War. So since then, we have been facing this issue of tribalism in the country, but it becomes even more obvious during this current administration under President Muhammadu Buhari. That is why I keep saying that President Buhari is running a tribalistic and nepotic government.
But
Nepotic
the
government. The country right now is practically divided along tribal lines. I'm telling you,
Yes, and it
not
has always been that way. It's not Buhari that caused that. Let's be fair.
yeah,
What we caused,
but
he
it
what
becomes
he
more
caused is
obvious now.
he made it worse because he himself, as an individual, is a tribalistic person. So he made it worse. Whereas he's taking care of his own section of the country. He's taking care of his people and ignoring the rest of the country. That's how he made it worse. But tribalism has always been the cause of a cause. Like when I say cause, CURSE, to Nigeria. We have
Yes,
always been tribalistic because, I mean, of course, when they divided us around tribal lines, when
yeah.
Nigeria was amalgamated and divided into tribal lines, it created that tribalistic tendency that we have today. And now each government makes it worse. Each particular government. Obasanjo did his. Babangida did his. Abacha did his. Uh, Now Buhari is doing his, and Buhari's own is worse than all of them put together.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's the
But
unfortunate thing.
you know the worst part of it, that many people are not very
Now
happy.
Buhari is doing his, and Buhari's own is worse.
Okay. You know why people are complaining? It becomes even more obvious during President Buhari's administration, because the power, the major political positions are all concentrated in the hands of the Northerners. So the Southerners are not very happy. What is going on? If we have a one Nigeria, power should be equally distributed among
Mm-hmm.
members of the country. How come the Northerners are occupying the federal positions? The federal positions in Nigeria are all concentrated in the hands of the Northerners. And people are not happy about that. We don't have one Nigeria again. We don't have one Nigeria.
We don't.
If we have one Nigeria, power should be given to the members equally across the country. But it's not,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what we are experiencing right now in Nigeria. And the worst of all, during the NSAS protests, you can see how Nigeria, let's say the leaders, how they are divided in the country. During the NSAS protest, the northern leaders, the 19 northern governors, organized a meeting against the NSAS protest, saying that the protest is posing threats to the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, while the Southern leaders were excluded. And the Southerners were speaking in different voice, saying that Nigeria and that the youth have the right for a peaceful protest in the country. That is a democratic right. You understand? And it's a democratic right. Under a democratic government, we have the right for peaceful protests in the country. So the northern leaders were speaking in different voice, saying that the NSAS protest is posing threats to the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari because it's their own. While the southern leaders were against it, saying that, oh, Nigerians have the democratic right to peaceful protest. And the northern
Mm-hmm.
leaders were also proposing social media bill to restrict Nigeria and take Nigerians and take freedom of speech away from Nigerians. You
Mm-hmm.
understand that? While the southern leaders were speaking in different voice. So the northern leaders organized their own meeting. After a few weeks, the southern leaders also organized their meeting demanding for restructuring of Nigeria through the system of federalism. But the northern leaders are not demanding for restructuring of Nigeria. You see how interesting it is right now in Nigeria. Only the southern leaders are demanding for restructuring of Nigeria, while the northern leaders are excluded from this quest for restructuring of Nigeria. The northern leaders are focusing on the threats against President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, saying that the protest, the NSAS protest, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord,
Nigeria. When you think of Nigeria, all you just want to cry. The thing is, you just want to cry. It's very hard. It's very hard to think of the problem of Nigeria, even us here in the diaspora, without actually saying, this is sad. This is very sad. Every time I step my feet in Nigeria, it's depressing. It's very depressing. But you must know that again, while the northern leaders were united in saying that, oh, Nigeria is doing okay, why do we want to separate and all that, you must remember that some of us in the south and the west are not united enough to stand for our rights. Because I remember a few Southerners were also calling for the social media ban, social media restrictions. Remember? Some
is
famous
certain.
actor, so that happens to be, what is he? House of Rep or whatever.
Oh, Desmond Elliot.
Yeah, there were some people in the South also
And
that
there are
were
few.
supporting the
Yeah, the
the
few.
the the
It's social media
social social social
social media bill.
social media restrictions
Mhm.
or ban
Mm.
altogether. So it's disappointing to know that Nigeria is so divided into tribal lines.
Yes, that is the thing.
Yet, yet, Some of these tribal lines are more united than some of them. Because if you look at the West, there are some calling for the Oduduwa Republic. Some are saying, no, we don't need Oduduwa Republic. And
Yes.
then you see the ones in the East saying they want Biafra. And then some of them in the East also, like just, that's what I'm saying, we're so disunited. The same people in the East,
Yeah.
half of them are saying they don't want Biafra, half are saying they want Biafra.
Yeah.
Now, Oduduwa is the same thing. Half are saying they want Oduduwa Republic, half are saying they don't want the Oduduwa Republic because Nigeria should remain one. In the North, they are all united for Nigeria to remain one. I don't think anyone in the North is calling for Nigeria to break up, right?
You know what?
So you can, yeah, of course, because they're the ones benefiting from all of this the
Thank you.
most.
Thank you.
If you're benefiting from something, why would you want to tear it down?
Exactly.
If it ain't
Thank you.
broke, why fix it?
You know what?
Right?
You know why they are not demanding for this secession,
Mm.
and the restructuring of Nigeria, because the northern region of Nigeria lack resources. The
Mm-hmm.
resources is coming from the south region of Nigeria. So if for instance we separate in Nigeria and remove north away from Nigeria, these people will be left in destitute.
Oh yeah, because
Des-
they really have.
no resources, and they don't. The worst of all,
Actually, don't be fooled. The North have resources.
not
They
enough,
have kept
not
no.
not
But
enough.
still, we don't know how much they have.
But not
They
that they
have
don't
kept
have
it
at
to
all.
themselves. They have kept it to themselves. They have gold. They have diamond.
Yeah, they have
They
gold.
have natural resources that they have kept to themselves that they don't share with the rest of Nigeria. Remember?
Yeah, the gold. Yeah, is Zafara.
Exactly. So
Zafara.
they have resources
Mm,
that they have legally. I don't know how they were able to do it. That is legal,
mm.
where they're able to legally say that doesn't belong to the rest of Nigeria, but just the
The
region it came
state,
from.
yeah, Zamfara.
So, but then how is it fair then that you take the natural resources from the west and the south
Mm,
and you share it with the rest of Nigeria?
mm,
But the ones in the north, you say no, you're not sharing. So that's how it's been unfair. The pendulum is not going
mm.
evenly. It's not. It's just going very lopsidedly, which is really unfair.
Yeah.
And it's unfair for a lot more people than the people it's working for.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. So, but you know that many Nigerians are not very happy with this idea of Zamfara taking, control of the gold in Zamfara,
Hmm.
while South region, where the crude oil is coming from, and the crude oil is being distributed
Mm-hmm.
to the country as a whole, under the federal
Yeah.
government.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that you can see that you see how the northern agenda, and since then we haven't heard anything from the federal government
Mm-mm.
over this gold mining in Zamfara.
No.
You see
No.
now. So let me quickly
But
read
the
this.
thing is, it didn't just start happening now. It's been happening for decades. Who
Maybe they
knows?
have
Maybe
been
50
keeping
years
it
ago.
secret. Yeah, they have been
Maybe
keeping.
since 50 years now. Who know? The thing is, we don't know how much gold they have. We don't know how much other natural resources they have. They're not sharing it with the rest of Nigeria, unfortunately. But we share ours with
Yes.
them.
Mm. Okay,
So,
so I want to quickly read this from the Reform Niger Data Avengers, the militants lately
mhm.
during the NSAS protests. They roll out their 11 demands. So I'm going to read this one that is very important. They demanded for urgent release of the 98 billion naira gas fare penalty fund to the host communities of the Niger Delta, which are funds domiciled in the Federation accounts through the Central Bank of Nigeria by the international oil companies as
Mm,
payment to compensate the communities being affected in the grips of the Niger Delta due to their environmental pollutions and environmental hazard caused by the multinational oil companies. So
mm,
this money I think is still under the federal government, the 98 billion naira. So
Mm.
these people are demanding for this compensation because they said the money is coming from the international oil companies who
Mm.
believe that they deserve compensation for the environmental degradation
Mm-hmm.
caused by the multinational oil companies. You see how corrupt Nigeria is, and these people are living in abject poverty in the region,
Mm-hmm.
where the money that's supposed to go towards developing the region where this oil is coming from, that is serving the entire nation. The oil that is serving the entire nation. The people living in that area are suffering from the environmental hazard caused by the multinational companies. So these people are demanding for the money to be distributed to the community that deserve this compensation in Nigeria. So the
Mm.
other one is that they also demanded that President Muhammadu Buhari administration withdrew $1 billion from the excess crude account sometime in 2019
Mm.
to acquire heavy weapons to fight Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast. So this money is coming from the crude oil
Nigeria.
from the South region of Nigeria. So Boko Haram, let's go back to the root cause of Boko Haram in the country. Who are we to blame for the root of Boko Haram? The northern leaders who are not encouraging education in the northern region of Nigeria. In Borno State, where Ali Sheriff, when he was the governor of the state, he was using this group of talks since political machineries. However, after the election, these people, they said idle hands are devil's worship or whatever. So the weapons that were given to them during the election period, they took it and they formed a group that gave rise to Boko Haram. And the name Boko Haram itself, it means Western education is forbidden because in the northern region of Nigeria, the only children that are attending schools, maybe the children of the emirs, the children of the governors, the children of the senators. So other children, almost 70% of the children in the northern region are not attending schools, and the leaders are not encouraging education in the northern region of Nigeria. So when education is not part of the societal norms, the child will grow up with little or no future but to become members of Boko Haram. So after they have raised this circle of illiterate children, and tomorrow they will put the pressure and the burden on the resources coming from the South region of Nigeria to solve the problem that they cause in the north. You understand what I just explained now? So that
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what is going on. $1 billion was taken from the account to fight Boko Haram. And to date, we are still facing the crisis of Boko Haram in the country. Have we defeated Boko Haram? No. Recently, Boko Haram attacked rice farmer in a Borno state or something and killed dozens of innocent farmers. So the 1 billion gone that's supposed to go towards developing the country, even though they don't use the money to develop only the southern region, at least to develop the country. But we are spending this money to fight the children, illiterate children that they are raising in the northern region of Nigeria. You see that we have long way to go. Long way to go in Nigeria. So that is just it. And the South region of Nigeria right now, they are demanding for restructuring of Nigeria through federalism so that a kind of a devolution of power to states to manage their own resources, implement policies in their various states. However, we are afraid that the northern leaders will not accept it because right now the northerners are ruling the country. They will never allow the system of federalism because it will take power away it will take resources away from the north because the resources coming from the southern region that the government is under the federal government will be taken away from the federal government. So they will never accept that. They will never accept it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? They will never accept it. You see that we have long way to go. So we want federalism, and the northern leaders will not allow federalism, while some Nigerians are saying, okay, secession will be the solution to this. If they will allow federalism, it will minimize these problems that the country is facing. But according to the structure of the country, the political structure of the country right now, I don't think the northern leaders will ever allow or accept this system of federalism.
Well, you said it all. Centralization is not a good thing, and it has never been a good thing for Nigeria. You see, when the power comes from one source and you have to wait for the federal government to act in order for something local to happen, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. For example, our police services is in Nigeria is a federal system of policing. And who has that helped? And let me put it the way Olamide was saying, who put Nigerian police up? Huh? So it has not helped because the police officers don't feel a sense of loyalty to their job. They don't feel a sense of, owning their job, owning what they do, a sense of pride in what they do because the power comes from up there,
Yes.
not their boss that is local to them, not the boss that is local to them. For example, you know, the police, we have one IG, right? Inspector General of Police. We have the state one, but the state one needs power from the main IG, the federal one, to even
Yes.
do anything, right? They have basically stripped the police, stripped them, literally, maybe stripped them naked in order to be basically useless to the people that they are supposed to be serving. Centralization does not work, and especially in the area of policing, because when you are policing a place that you have no affinity, no
No,
sense of loyalty, or
no connection
no connection,
with
no,
the people.
nothing to the
Yeah.
people you're
Yeah.
serving, you don't care. You don't care. No, you're not from that state. You're not from that place that you're serving. Because why would you bring a police officer from the north to come and work in the south that they don't know the culture? I mean, it's not their culture. So they really do not respect the culture there, the way things are done there, because everywhere is different. Uh, you may bring a Hausa man, maybe a Muslim, to come and police a place that is predominantly a Christian place. How is that going to work? There is going to be conflict of interest. The Hausa police officer that is working in Delta State or Edo State or River State or Bayelsa State, knowing that those areas are not Islamic area, the Hausa man is not going to understand fully the cultural differences that he has to work with and within that framework, right? But if you have a decentralized system of policing and the police chiefs in each state are the ones in charge of that state, they run the state, they are from the state, they will have a sense of loyalty and pride to do their jobs.
Exactly.
And when they start funneling the power down to the lowest person, the corporal, in the physical police station, the local neighborhood police station, the local neighborhood police station is from within the state. They don't have to be from the city, but they have to be from the state. Because when you're from the state, people know who you are. They know your family, maybe. They know that you are accountable to the people. You have a sense of pride in your work, to do
Yes.
good, to do well, because you have a sense of pride in your state, in your city.
Because
You
it's your
know,
city.
it's your
It's,
city. You want it to run. We want things to run well, things to run good, so that you can take pride in your job and say, yes, I'm a police officer. I don't know any Nigerian police officer who's actually proud of being a Nigerian police officer. Most of them do this out of a sense of desperation. They just need a job.
they need a job and
So
they are
it's
not
not because
paid.
they care about their jobs. Because if you care about your job, People will see it in you. Your uniform will be nice and crispy, clean.
How much
Your
are they paying
shoes,
them? How much are they paying
I know,
for them
apart
to
from
buy
that.
good?
But you see, because it's centralized, the IG doesn't see the dirty looking police officer that is wearing slippers to go to work. Slippers with uniform. They don't see how dirty their uniform is. You see Canadian police, you want to be a police officer. You see American
Yes.
police, you want to
Yeah.
be a police officer. They take pride in their jobs. And the system of government in Canada, in the United States, and most of the Western world, let's just stay local. Let's just stay within North America. In Canada and the United States, is decentralized. Is decentralized. The each state or each province, in the case of Canada, each state, in the case of the United States, the state have their own police chiefs, and each police chief have every right, and they actually use the power to make sure that state or that province is taken care of properly. And on top of that, each locality have a police station, and the police officers live within the community. That means that people know the police officers, they know where they live, they live in the community, they understand the culture in that community. So they take pride in their jobs.
Exactly.
They understand what's at stake in each community. They know the community inside and out. Some of them were born in that community, and yet they grow up and decide to be police officers, and they take pride in their jobs because you can see it when they walk in with that authority and audacity.
The problem
You
of
know, they
Nigeria.
walk in with a nice crispy looking uniform with their paraphernalias, their props and whatever they have to use to do their jobs around them, on them, and they were walking, and they actually are proud to be police officers. Nigerian police officers, they are not proud to be officers. They're not even proud. They just want to get a paycheck. That's all they care
But
about. And if
the
everything is
paycheck
about
is enough.
money,
The paycheck is enough. They are not well
it's not
compensated.
enough. I know that. But that's
Yeah.
why they take bribes. That's why they ask for bribes. If they're well paid and they're paid on time, because there are two things here with the police officers. Number one, they're not well paid. Number two, they don't even pay them on time, because you see that sometimes they're not paid in 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time. So what do you expect from them? They're going to have to steal from the people, use the guns that we give them or the country gives them to terrorize the people. That's how they make their money. And
You-
how is that surprising? If you're
Lately,
working and they're not paying you, you're going to have to figure it out and find a way to make ends meet.
yes.
Unfortunately, they resort to doing that. That's
Lately,
unfortunate.
lately, I did some research with people in the police force in Canada. I realized that in Nigeria, any police officer that dies on duty, there's no compensation for the family. Unlike Canada, the compensation here, oh
Oh,
my
your
gosh.
children will be taken care of to
Okay.
college.
So,
They will be, if you have 5 children, all 5 children will be given a scholarship by the police association.
so,
And your widow, the widow will get widow's pension,
a lot of money will be
right?
given to the widow.
So
Yes.
so they will not suffer. It will feel like they are suffering because their father is not alive or their husband is not alive. They will still be doing well. The children will be guaranteed education, guaranteed college education, because the province or the government of Canada guarantees high school education, guarantees you up to grade 12. After grade 12, you're on your own. You decide if you want to go to college or not. But if you want to go to college, there is a fund for police officers' children to access to go to college and do well and make their dead parent, whether it's a father or mother, proud.
Yeah,
You
here
know?
in Canada, police is a very prestigious
Mm-hmm.
profession in Canada. What you said,
Mm-hmm.
one is a police here. Everybody looks say, this
Yeah.
is very prestigious
Mm-hmm.
profession in Canada. But in Nigeria, police officers in Nigeria, no respect. People don't respect them. I
Yeah.
remember a few years ago when I
Yeah.
visited Nigeria, I was advising some boys. I said, why can't you go join police? He said, God forbid, God forbid. What should I
Right. It's like a cost if you are a police officer in
yeah,
Nigeria.
because of the way they have relegated police officers by the government. By the government, they are not well equipped. They are
Mm-mm.
not well compensated. That is why people are
Mm.
not impressed, are not motivated to join the police force
No.
in Nigeria. If you will tell them, say, God forbid, why should I join police?
Uh-huh.
Because they believe that it's one of the worst profession
It's
that
the
anyone
worst profession in Nigeria.
in
It's like a
Nigeria.
curse. If
Yeah,
you have a family member that is in the police, is a police officer, you look down on them and say, "What are you doing? Don't come to my house, please. You're not welcome in my."
they
Because you know
become
their
beggars in the
reputation
streets.
is just horrible
Thank you.
because of the lack of pride in their jobs, and you don't blame them entirely because, of course, they are not well paid. They are
Yes.
one of the worst paid people in Nigeria.
And their job is very tough.
And their job is supposed to be
Very
tedious, but not in Nigeria. Nigerian police officers are lazy. Okay, they are lazy. I've seen them. Some of them
not
will, instead of them to doing their jobs, they're out gallivanting, drinking
because
in
they
their
are
uniforms because they have no sense of pride
no
in their
beside that.
jobs,
There's no good management. They are not managing it
right?
properly. No good training.
In Canada, you will not see a police officer drinking in their uniform, drinking
Because
alcohol in their uniform. Not gonna happen.
you know why? It's the system. If the system is like Nigeria, they will do the same thing in Canada, I
While
guarantee.
on duty, you're
I
on
say,
duty and you're taking alcohol. Oh my
listen,
gosh.
if the
If
system is
if
like that of Nigeria, if the system here in Canada is like that of Nigeria, I guarantee you police officers they will drink on duty. Because here the system will never give them the
we
opportunity
never
to.
allow them to do that,
So
they
in
will be fired. They will lose their jobs.
exactly, but
I
in
have
Nigeria,
seen I have seen police officers who were so shabbily dressed. They didn't even care to iron their uniforms. They didn't even care to wear proper shoes. They were wearing slippers. I
yes,
went up to this police officer and said, "What are you doing? You couldn't even wear proper shoes and you didn't iron your uniform." He looked at me as if I'm crazy. Like, what's your problem?
because we are not in the country.
You
Those who are in
know?
the country are used to this type
I,
of
I'm like, you are I looked at this. I had to make sure it's not just a security officer. I looked at it, Nigerian police. Why is it Nigerian police? You see, that's where the problem is. There should be just a, a certain type of police that is Nigerian police. Otherwise, the rest of the police should be from the state or the city. Let's say Lagos police, Lagos City police, right?
like, yeah,
Benin City police,
yeah.
Warri City police,
No
Abuja
data,
police,
no data set
Delta State police,
police.
right? That's the state. Then they will now have the city police under the state police, rather than have Nigerian police. Everywhere you go is Nigerian police.
Because it's under
Nigerian
the
police means
federal
that it's
government.
kind of a generic name. It
Yes,
doesn't mean nothing.
it's
That
because of the
it creates for
centralization.
lack of it just creates for lack of pride in the
That is
job.
that is what we are advocating for. That decentralization that will give states power to implement their own
Own
uh,
policing.
security outfits in their
Yes.
various states. So that will make it, like Edo State. I will use Edo State as an example. Just because of this centralization during the election period, the governor of Edo State was always complaining that he cannot mobilize security operatives in the state to
Mm-hmm.
provide citizens to provide security for citizens and their properties.
Yeah.
Okay, because they were being compromised,
Because
by
they
the
be yes,
their boss.
centrally.
Yes,
Centrally. Because they
yes.
take their orders from the central government,
You know
from
what
the
happened?
from
You know
oh
what
God.
happened? You know what happened? The governor was complaining one day that someone was arrested. A criminal was arrested,
Mm.
and they took him to the office, the police station. But they received a call from the upper, power that is the federal government, under the federal, they receive a phone call telling them to release the criminal immediately.
You see,
And they released the criminal. The
they
governor was
have to
left
because the
powerless.
power is coming from the top.
Yes, and they released the criminal. The governor was powerless. Powerless. You know, if this centralization, this federalism, will allow states to have power over security operatives, right? Okay, at that time, I wish the governor has the power to mobilize security. I don't think criminals would have cluttered the street of Benin or those states at that time,
Right.
causing mayhem, and the governor was powerless. He cannot
Right.
mobilize police. He
Just
was complaining all the time that even himself, he is not getting security. You
right.
understand?
Because if the federal government choose to remove security from the governor, they
Yes.
will. If you are not with them, they will
They,
sabotage the
they
governor
did that to many
and put
governors.
him in peril.
They did that to many governors in Nigeria. They did that. So during election period, they would just remove security details from the governor. Why the governor will be looking for maybe street boys to provide security for
Yes.
him.
And
So
thereby empowering thugs to now
yes.
be in power and do things that will later regret. Because
So
when the governor has no choice, he needs security, or else he may be mobbed or who knows, right? He definitely needs security. So at the end of the day, when the power only comes from the top, it's just like, let me give you an example. Remember that lady? What's her name now? I can't even remember her name now. The Bielsa lady that
no,
a
no.
few months ago,
It's
uh,
Joy,
yes, Joy,
Lunia,
the
Joy Lunia.
police, yeah, Nunia, yeah, the police was sent. Federal government sent the police to her house to
That's what.
apprehend her that early morning. If she didn't know the governor that came to take her out of her house, she would have been taken to who knows where, because she
Yeah.
was a whistleblower,
Uh,
and the federal government feels that
she,
this woman
she,
needs to be taken out.
and
They
she's
could
a
have
threat,
easily come. Yes, she's a threat to the
threat to
federal
them.
government. The police could have easily come to kill her, or take her, whisk her away, and who knows whether they will find her again.
Mm.
So thank God that the governor came to her aid and took her away with his own personal security. She was powerless, and this is supposed to be someone that has a little clout, maybe not a little clout, a lot
That
of
woman,
clout.
she was lucky.
She was
Otherwise,
very lucky. Who knows what they would have done to her?
they can
But you
just
can
take
see
her away.
where centralized policing fails, because it makes for the power coming from that one source. And if you are not in good standing with that one source, you're screwed. You're screwed.
That's what happened. Yeah, those set is a good example of that. During the election period, honestly, the governor was always complaining, said there's no security in those states. Police is not arresting. These people were causing mayhem in the state, and if I know in public spaces, okay, and the people who were responsible for the inferno in public spaces were not arrested or prosecuted in the state. The governor was just there, powerless, powerless.
That's the problem with centralized
Yeah.
system
So
of governing and policing and all that, because I don't know why the federal government will have to deal with local policing. It's not their jurisdiction, and it
no,
shouldn't be their jurisdiction.
yeah,
It should be the local police in charge of the local matters. They
yes,
can concern themselves with more bigger police matters, such as investigating a federal case, rather than imagine sending Nigerian police sounds bad. Just the fact that it's centralized sounds bad. Because if a police officer came from Warri, for example, he was born in Warri, and he happens to be a police officer, he's going to really take pride in his work if he happens to be serving around his neighborhood. He's going to make sure he would know the thugs, he would know the troublemakers, they will know him too, that or her, that you don't mess with these people, especially if he's an honest police officer.
Yeah, exactly.
The people will know him. He will know the people. He will know, and they will come tell him things privately. They will know the bad people, and they will give him clues. And if in case of an investigation, people will know him to say,
Exactly.
okay, call this person. He should know what's going on with the criminals, what they are doing right now. But
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it doesn't happen because we're dealing with Nigerian police.
yeah,
Nigerian police seems like it's, like I said before, a generic name and a generic job that really we don't even know what they do. All they do is causing havoc to the people
oh,
that they are
yes,
supposed to be
exactly.
serving.
Exactly.
And it's really unfortunate.
That's why we are demanding for decentralization and restructuring of Nigeria through the system of federalism that will help to minimize the problems facing the country right
Mm.
now. So this quest for secession among some tribal groups in Nigeria, I'm advising them that this is not going to work. It's only they are exacerbating more violence in the state with this their quest for secession. Less demand for restructuring of Nigeria. It will help to solve these problems.
Mm.
So I think we have to end the show
Mhm.
today. Thank you, Miss Fina. Thanks for joining us today on Nebo TV.
Thank you for having me, and thank you guys for watching. The matter of Nigeria, the talk of Nigeria, is a very depressing one indeed, especially for us that in the diaspora. When we think of the Nigeria we left behind and our people, we still have, most of us still have families back home, and how they are faring. It's a very depressing thought,
Exactly.
and it's just that when you feel like even if you send money, how much can you send to alleviate their problems? It's like it's a never ending problem, and it's not their fault. It's not the family's fault, although everybody shares in this problem because Nigeria's problem is everybody's problem. And on top of that, if until we solve the problem of tribalism, nepotism, and over religiosity, and instead of spirituality, we actually do what is called religiosity, and not just religiosity. We are morbidly over religious in Nigeria,
Uh,
in a very very bad way, because I don't understand a place, a country with so many churches and so many mosques, so many,
look,
yet
that
the hearts of the people does not reflect how they serve their maker. They profess to be Christians, they profess to be Muslims, yet the evil in the place just makes you want to weep. It does not reflect in the hearts of the people.
as you
Eh?
were just speaking there, I'm just thinking about some things that happened when I went to Nigeria. Look, if we have to discuss about religion in Nigeria, we won't live here. That one is another
It's
separate
so
big,
sad. It is
big
a very
story.
sad situation.
Big story
Very
about
sad
religion.
situation.
You cannot change Nigerians. They are too religious.
I
That
went
one, that
to
one.
church, for
Yes.
example. Let me just give you this little quick story. I went to church when I went to Nigeria, let's say 2 years ago now, 2018 Christmas, with my daughter. And New Year's Eve, my friend says, "Oh, we're going to go to church." So we went to this church in Lekki. While we're there, what I saw with my eyes, I'm like, this is a church? Like the people are not nice to one another? They're not nice. And as we leave, the ushers were not just rude, they were littering the place themselves. This guy was drinking a kind of Coke, a bottle of Coke, and right at the gate, because you have to be bussed in because of the traffic problem. So you park in a place, you park your car there, and you get on the bus to take you to the worship center, to the actual church. So as we leave, they have to bus you back to where you parked. So you wait in line. people are cutting in, and on top of that, there's this usher that was directing us, on how to get on the bus. The guy was drinking a bottle of Coke, and as he finished the last sip, he just threw the bottle right where he was standing. I went up to this guy and say, and he's wearing a name tag and usher. He had a vest on, and he's an usher. He says usher, whatever his name was, and he was like, he's a church worker, whether a volunteer or paid worker, it doesn't matter. You are the ambassador of that church. As long as you're wearing your uniform, you represent the culture of that place. This guy threw the bottle, the empty bottle, down just a few meters where he was standing by the gate of the church. And I went up to this guy and said, pick up that bottle. Everybody was looking at me like, whoa, what's this? I was furious. I just came out of church praying into the new year. And this guy did this terrible thing, just threw a bottle right in front of his own church. I'm like,
That
pick it up. You're wearing this church uniform. What do you think you just did? Were you conscious of what you did? Is that how you behave at home? Not to mention the house of God, someone you profess to be worshiping, and then you drink, you litter the place by yourself, and you're wearing your uniform. You should be ashamed of yourself. I was saying, I was loud. I wasn't even quiet. The guy just shamefully picked up the bottle and said, I'm sorry. I said, don't tell me you're sorry. You should be sorry for yourself. And I walked back to my lineup. My daughter was like, yeah, thanks, Mom, because she was irritated as well. You know?
I used to be saying one thing on this show over and over again, that restructuring of Nigeria has to do with all Nigerians changing their
Yes,
mindsets.
everybody.
All Nigerians have to participate in this restructuring of Nigeria. Because when you say restructuring of Nigeria, I will focus on only the
Government.
politicians. Only the
Who is the
politicians.
government? The government consists of the people.
Thank
The
you.
government is not like a ghost or
They
some
didn't fall from
invisible
they
people.
didn't
They are
fall from
physical
heaven.
people like us, like everybody else.
They are products of Nigeria. They were born and
Yes.
raised in Nigeria. Who
Mm-hmm.
are the politicians? Sometimes the way we exclude the politicians
As
as
if
if
they are not people.
they were raised in different environments or they fell from heaven
They are
to Nigeria.
angels.
Yeah, aliens that came from unknown
Yeah.
destination.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy how we equate when we talk of restructuring or corruption in Nigeria. We
Yes,
immediately go to the government. But
yes,
the government is the people, and the people is the government.
yes,
So
yes,
it's one and the same. And
yes.
until each individual Nigerian,
All of
each
us,
person,
all of
each
us.
Nigerian, until they wake up and start doing the right things,
Eh,
even in their own homes, even
Oh,
in their own
you
homes,
said it
treat your
all.
nannies and your babysitters or your house girl or your house boy very well, like they are your family member.
Beside
Don't
that,
treat them because these are unfortunate people that maybe they were brought from another state. So maybe they're not even your tribe. Because sometimes we'll bring house girls from, let's say, you live in Lagos, you bring a house girl or house boy from Akwa Ibom, Delta, different places, or family members who send you their kids to take care of. And then you abuse the children. The restructuring must start from the home.
you know what I said?
From the
Few weeks,
home.
the same thing I said a few weeks ago, that restructuring of Nigeria has to do with all Nigerians changing their mindsets, changing their mindset that this corruption that we are always complaining about exists in every fabric of Nigerian society,
Mm-hmm.
starting from family to the school system to
Mm-hmm.
every institution in Nigeria is corrupt. Every institution. Okay, the family, when you are practicing corruption in the front of your children, what do you expect those children to become?
Right.
Future.
They learn what they see.
When you
Children are like sponges. What
okay,
they see
when
is
you
what they do.
when you
Whatever you squeeze into them, that's what they bring out.
exactly,
You
exactly.
know,
So you practice corruption in front of your children, and tomorrow, if these children, your children grow up and become a politician, a president, what do you expect? You want that child to be a good leader when
apart
you
from that, the
when
parents
you
don't
were
even care as long as the children are bringing money.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the thing. You see, we have lost our way. Growing up in Nigeria, there used to be something called honor and integrity.
oh, there's
If
no
you see
integrity.
a child, another person, or your own child doing something bad, you will be the one to go and report them to the police. You say, my son is a thief. You should take him in and teach him a lesson. Teach him how not to steal anymore. He's a thief.
Yes.
Because I don't want him to die, become an armed robber, and he gets killed by firing squad or by mob rule. Eh? So you will report your own child. Today, you will tell your child, your friends, your mates are making money. They are buying cars for their moms and dads. They are building houses for their parents. Do you know how those people got the money to build those houses? Do you know how those people got the money to buy the cars for their parents and build those mansions that we see sometimes in Nigeria? You don't know that. So why would you put the burden on your own child? It's like you're now telling your child indirectly, go and steal. Whatever those people are doing, go and do it so I can be proud of you. Otherwise, I'm not going to be proud of you. That's ridiculous. These are the roots of our problem. If we start listing the roots of our problems, Nigerian problem, we will not live here today. So we
Yeah.
better close this thing. And we
Look,
better say
honestly,
goodbye to the people because it's starting to bring. I'm starting to get depressed
the
already.
religion
It's
is another
crazy.
part of it. The people, the Nigerians, families, institutions, corruption that is existing in different institutions in the country, even in the churches. Corruption. Corruption exists in every fabric of Nigerian society. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, let's just close this show. Next time we can continue. Maybe we'll focus on the churches. The corruption in
Mm.
Nigerian churches is just all over the whole place. If we have to discuss about that, we are discussing about littering the streets. That is just a minor issue, very minor. I won't even count that
No,
as
but
one.
it's the little minor issues.
The
They
major
add up
ones,
to become a big issue.
the
It,
major ones.
these
You need
are
to
not minor issues until we fix the littlest issues, the little ones.
okay.
Until we fix those small, tiny issues, eh? We won't be able to fix the big one. We haven't fixed the little one. We need to fix the ones we can individually fix.
What they are
That's
doing
what
in
I'm
Nigerian
saying.
churches these days, what they are practicing in Nigerian churches. Let's just end this show, and then next time we can come back again and discuss it.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think I'd rather even talk about those ones because this
yeah,
restructuring thing, it has too many facets to it,
exactly.
too many
Yeah,
things, and half the people, a
it's
third of the people believe want restructuring, a
yeah,
third doesn't want restructuring, a third wants something totally different.
yes,
It's
yeah,
it's it's we're a long ways away from that
yeah,
anyway. However, we need to realize what we really want in Nigeria, and once we know what we want, then we can start going to get it.
yes,
And SARS is just the beginning of what I see happening in Nigeria. And in fact, I am so proud of the youths. And we should not forget those ones that lost their lives at Lekki Tollgate and around Nigeria for this cause. And we should definitely raise monuments in their honor as soon as possible.
possible. Yes, yes,
As soon as possible. Because this is how these things will be swept under the rug and then we'll move on and continue as normal, things are back to normal. Things are not back to normal. And they can never be back to normal until at least some of the things the boys and the youths are asking for is realized. At
yes.
least,
Yeah.
you
Good.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like what I said the other day is like the whole goal of the NSAS protests. You
Mm,
understand the goal that they set out for the NSAS protest is
mm-hmm.
like it has been defeated because
Already?
the goal for the protest was defeated by the Nigerian government who sent their armies to open fire on innocent protesters. Innocent protesters. So that is the thing. Um, let's end this show. Thank you, Sister Fina. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I hope
Thank you
to
for
talk to
having me.
you.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good night and Merry Christmas
Same to
to you
you.
and your family. Merry
Same
Christmas all.